welcome everybody. We need to talk about Tesla. I don't know about you guys out there. I'm very depressed over watching my Tesla position just fall to pieces. So, of course, I had to bring the man, the myth, the legend, Sami Abusaad, to tell me what is going on with this stock. We'll also discuss the market. We will discuss China, all sorts of other fun things. I don't know if you guys were here, but I think last April, when Tesla was at about 140, Sami rudely interrupted me and told me Tesla was bottoming. So now we're going to find out, are we ready to say goodbye to this once magical stock? So Sami, first of all, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. Thank you. Doing all right, Mike.
Okay. Yeah. So first, let's talk about the market. So the last couple of weeks, you used the word sloppy specifically to discuss the broader action. So, and I don't think I'm being a psychic. Are things still sloppy out there?
Very much so. I talked about it in the coaching that I did yesterday. I talked about it this morning. Usually, when you have a nice uptrend like we currently have in the market, you want to see a tight base. So that signals continuation to the upside. When you get a very sloppy base, thick base, meaning from top to bottom, it's very, very wide, then you are thinking maybe we have a reversal base, in which case, the trend bends a little bit and rolls over. But that's not what's happening. That's not what's going to happen. The market is in a very tight uptrend. Those tight up on the weekly chart. Look at the weekly time frame. The market is of the SPY and the Qs. Forget about the IWM. The IWM is also turning bullish, but forget about the IWM for now. The SPY and the Qs on the weekly time frame is in a very, very tight uptrend. So that tells me we're higher. We're like 100% for sure higher. There's no such thing as 100%, but I'm telling you, the market is very sloppy on the daily chart, up and down a lot, but don't get shaken out of your positions because we are higher in the longer term. And so, yeah, is that what was your question, Mike? I think that was the question.
Yeah, the thing is, are we still sloppy? Because it's interesting because I just took a look right before we started. Every single major ETF except for MSOS and XLK are up on the year. So even though everybody's sort of stressed out and freaking out, we have China, we have tariffs, we have Trump making trouble, we have DeepSeek, where everything is up on the year. So it's weird.
Yeah, and again, not just that, but the fact that trends don't end easily. They just don't. I wish they did, because then you could pick tops and bottoms more easily. But that's why picking tops and bottoms is so hard, because it's very rare for an uptrend to end, except when it goes totally parabolic. And right now the trend is not parabolic. We're in a very tight uptrend. So despite the sloppiness on the daily chart, just ignore that if possible. Step away if possible. We're going to be higher. And again, I said 100% chance. There's no such thing, but we should be higher when all said and done.
Yeah. So do you think that the overall environment is healthy?
Of course, it is. It's just a lot of, it's a new administration, a lot of big things happening, the tariffs, whatever. So the market is just being very, very choppy. But when all said and done, when the dust settles, we will be higher.
Okay. All right. So I think everybody out there, I think the message is don't freak out over every single headline. And it feels like we're going to be getting a lot of headlines over the next 4 years if, this last month is anything to go by. Okay. So, Sami, I don't know if you want to bring up your charts, but yeah, again, Tesla, Sami has been amazing on Tesla. Again, I said before, he rudely interrupted me last April and said Tesla was bottoming at like 140, 145. Most recently, he said he did not like it into earnings. And yeah, Tesla's earnings report was not great. And, it fell apart. Looks like it's having a rough day today. So Sami, let us go to our good friend Tesla. Is it back, or is it more garbage ahead?
Is the chart okay that I'm showing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, we're okay. Good.
So, if you look at Tesla, sure, the 20 is bending and is pointing down, but look at the breakout. Always look at how it all started. This is a bullish breakout. So this is just a pullback, very, very sloppy. It's at support, by the way, if I may point out. We might retest the top of that base, come down to here, basically. We might, but Tesla is also in an uptrend. I mean, so we're putting in a pullback, a 3-week pullback, but I wouldn't freak out over it. I have a long-term position in it, but I think it'll be all right. For now, it's a bit sloppy, and in the shorter term looks a little bit lower. Remember I told you to trail half. I actually gave it to 456.89. This should be 457 something, 457.50. So normally I just give it 10-15 cents below, but in this case I gave it 62 cents below. So I trailed some over here. It was going parabolic. We talked about it actually in one of those live streams. But now that it's pulled back, is not the time to exit. If I was, if I had the whole position, I wouldn't exit, because I think we've had a 3-week pullback. And don't forget about the market. The market is the ocean, that lifts all boats. So the tide that lifts all boats. So eventually, I think when all said and done, we'll go back up. But for now, yes, it's not the best, nicest looking chart. But as a longer term trader in Tesla, I'm okay with it.
Okay, everybody out in the audience, let us know in the chat what you think of Tesla here. Our good friend Gemini Woman says, let that MFer fall more. So I guess Gemini Woman wants to buy more lower, but let us know in the chat what you think of Tesla. Okay, Sami, another topic that's come up again and again is China. Obviously, we have a lot of news in the short term about trade wars. There's lots of sort of public negotiating going on with Trump and Xi. Everybody's waiting for Alibaba to report. Yeah, that is a mystery. If anybody out there knows when Alibaba is actually going to report earnings, we would love to know about it. So what do you think of the China stocks here?
I'm in them long. I have a pretty big position in BABA, to tell you the truth. So it's down several $1,000s for me today. But look, I'm looking at the monthly chart, and I see that same pattern. The monthly starting to the 20 starting to curl and starting to look higher. That's BABA. Look at the FXI. That double bottom staying bullish. I don't love the FXI the way it looks. Let's take a look at the yen. That's the leveraged ETF. Look at JD. That's a beautiful monthly chart. I'm bullish on China. We'll see what ends up happening. I've been bullish before and wrong about China too, but I'm bullish. The charts are turning bullish on the monthly time frame. So I have a bunch of China stocks long. So we'll see. I have the yen, I have the CWeb, I have BABA, I have a bunch. I have a whole bunch. So we'll see. I like the charts, and I don't really try to pay too much attention to the news, because the charts are my truth, and I'm gonna stick with my truth. Basically, if the charts fail, then I take my loss and look somewhere else, find some other opportunity. But as long as we don't break that recent pivot that formed on a lot of the China stocks, including JD, including BABA, right? This recent pivot, then I'm gonna stay long. So that's my thesis on China, at least.
Okay, Sami is staying long China. Okay, do you think at a time like this, people would benefit from turning off the news?
I think so, especially if you're a long-term trader. If you're a long-term trader, it's only gonna distract you. It's only gonna sway you. It's only going to, if you decide this is a long-term trade for me, and I'm going long and I'm staying long, then what's the purpose of the news? You have a stop in the system. If it stops, it stops. If it doesn't, then you didn't get shaken out. But I think the news, you wake up and you look at the news, oh my God, Trump said this, I better get out of my positions. And then 5 minutes later, oh, we're pausing the tariffs. We're pausing the tariffs, and you got out of your positions. How about that? You got out of your positions, and then very next day he's pausing the tariffs. You see what I mean? So it's not a good idea to try and be, the smartest guy in the world that can read Trump's mind, that can read in between the lines. Why not just look at the chart and let the chart do all the thinking for you, right? Once you've made your decision to get long, then stay long, and don't try to be so smart about it and read in between the lines and figure out what Trump is, how he's negotiating, and it's useless to me. At least it is. I don't claim to be smart enough to interpret the news and also benefit from it in such a way that in any way, really, it doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I do think a lot of people are sort of these days are interpreting the news through their own political lens.
Of course.
So if I like Trump and Trump does something, it's good for the market. So I do think there is a lot of that going on. And I suspect a lot of people will, on both sides, will lose a lot of money because they just assume it's either going to be nirvana or we're falling into the pits of hell. Okay, no, so Sami, so we had a very interesting conversation offline. And by the way, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about Sami's mentorship in a few minutes if you're interested in joining. There's a few spots left. But so Sami is sort of notorious for having too many stock ideas. So if I ask for Sami, like his favorite stock idea, he gives me like 40. But so you're positive overall on the market, but how is your idea flow right now? Are you finding, is it hard to find good ideas right now?
It really is. There's not a lot of quality plays. The ABT triggered for us in the newsletter. This is a weekly 1, 2, 3. So notice the breakout bar, and then it's not a narrow range bar, whatever you want to call this bar, feel free. But that's a 1, 2, 3 play that triggered today for us. I also have a call on the ORC, which is these things don't usually move, but when they move, they might explode. This is a real estate stock. So in a very, very long-term downtrend since 2017, looks like, and notice what's happening here, starting to maybe fail on the downtrend. So I like this. I have a call on it. It hasn't triggered. It's over 850 is the call. So up here, we'll see if this one triggers. I really love the Affirm. I played it long twice. I mean, 2 different positions, got out of it when it broke down right here. And I'm looking to get back in it on this weekly buy setup. So you see it. So over that bar high. Now, why do I like the Affirm? You look at the weekly chart. It doesn't look so good. Well, look at the monthly chart. This killer has room to 150, 160. So I really like the Affirm, but it does need to, I would love for it to base a little bit more. Even if it doesn't, I think it's good to go. It just needs to take this bar out, which is the high of that bar is 63.09. So let's say over 63.20 or so on the Affirm. So there's a few ideas that I like. The DAQ, once it takes out the highs. I'm in the Twilio still, but only 600 shares. I used to have 1,000, sold half, almost half. So this one looks much, much higher still. So this is a long-term play for me for sure. Like of all the plays that I have, this is definitely a long-term play. I don't have what else do I have? I mean, what are some of the things that I like? So I have some ideas, but not a lot, because usually, like I said, I have a ton more. And right now I have the IBM long-term. What else? I just called the Twilio, not the Twilio, sorry, the Fubo yesterday as a play. It triggered, so I like that long. Fubo just triggered yesterday though, so it's a little bit late, but looks higher. So again, not a lot of ideas, but some. I always have some ideas, and not a lot of good shorts at the moment, but a few decent longs, like the ones that I went over.
Okay, so Sami, during this sort of weird time where it's like overall things look okay, but it's hard to find ideas. I was going to say, I just saw you pulled up the Qs. Do you ever just trade like the Qs or IWM or even leveraged ETFs?
No, I day trade them when when they go parabolic or when there's a really nice setup. But normally I don't trade the market because I look for things that look way better than the market, and I try to time them with the market. So if I trade the market itself, I lose that advantage, the timing advantage, the relative strength, relative weakness advantage, the special stocks that are on their own page. So I lose that. By the way, this is the daily chart that I told you about that was really, really sloppy. But if you actually notice, and I drew this morning, this is actually creating a rounding bottom. Some might call it an inverse head and shoulders, right? But that's what it is. I mean, it's a big sloppy base, but guess what? We're higher. How do I know? Not based on the daily. It's based on the weekly. This type of a trend never ends easily, unless some we wake up and there's a mushroom cloud over DC or something, but this kind of a trend is just, don't bet against it. Never, ever. I don't care what you think about Trump or whatever. This trend doesn't end. I meant to pull up the SPY, and this is just as bullish as it gets. This type of a trend, it just doesn't end. Now, if the market shoots up and goes parabolic and you want to bet against it, be my guest. But when it's still in a nice tight grind up, I mean, this is higher. This is really, really bullish.
Interesting. See, I love working with Sami because he has real conviction, and there's no hedging, there's no pulling of punches. Because I do feel like a lot of people are afraid to say I'm bullish. Everybody's afraid to say I like the market. So if you guys want to know, sorry, are you saying something, Sami?
I used to be one of those guys. I used to always want to hedge my bets. I used to always think, well, but if we do this, we could maybe drop. I used to be, but now I know this only distracts me from the mission at hand, which is to be bullish when the market is bullish. Don't be hedging. Don't be second guessing. Just commit. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. What's the worst that could happen? I'm wrong and I lost some money. But if I'm right, which often is the case, I can benefit for many, many months and years to come, especially if the market stays in a bullish uptrend for the next several years, which to me, I don't have no reason to doubt. So
okay. Our friend GT says, first time here, new. What a great analysis. So if you guys want to know where conviction comes from, so we have a very unique learning opportunity for you guys to make Sami your mentor from April through June of this year. So I'm going to bring up some slides on the screen. If you guys want to leave, if you're sick of us, this is the sales pitch time. So if you got your stock ideas and you want to leave, that's totally fine. But if you want to learn how you can learn from Sami, stick around. So Sami says, Scoop C says Sami is the man. I know Scoop is from Sami's day trading room. So again, we're talking about the Pristine Mentorship, which runs from April to June, where Sami opens up the book and teaches everything. And Maggie's telling us, GT, join T3 and you'll learn so much. Sami is incredible. Scoop C says, I took the mentorship. I've been consistent ever since. And these are live chat messages. Buford T. Justice has said, Sami made me a lot of money on Baba. Buford T. Justice, Smokey and the Bandit is one of the most important films I've ever seen. So thank you for your name. And our friend Maria is saying, Tesla buy bullish long-term. Okay, so we're going to go through this quickly. So again, I believe this is the biggest and best trader transformation program in the industry. We want you to go from confused to confident, inconsistent to consistent, frustrated to happy. One of the biggest things I've noticed is that a lot of people in the market seem to hate the market. So why are you doing it? You should either just go do something else or learn to be better. Our friend Chip is saying, I'm already in Sami's weekly trades, penny stocks, lots of fun. Yeah, you want to be happy. Otherwise, quit. Go ride a bike, lift weights, whatever. Okay, so very important. This is not a traditional plain vanilla online class, because anybody can take you over a weekend in a conference room and babble for 2 days about all the amazing things they do, but they can't actually prove to you what it is in the real world. So, and these are messages just posted in Sami's room. David said, got lucky on someone canceling. So grateful I got in. Already paid off the tuition a long time ago. And David was talking about the mentorship. Scoop says, I did the mentorship last May. Unironically, it was when I became a consistent trader after that. Only red week since then. It's worth it. And Chandan at the bottom says it was a great one. Lots of stuff. Took a few weeks to understand what worked and got covered my tuition in the first month. So awesome. So phase 1 is the orientation and live training. This is April 26th through 27th. So you learn the training, the Pristine Method course, and the Opening Rush live course. So very quickly, so all the trend analysis that Sami does, when Sami tells me, shut up, Mike, stop looking at the news, just look at the chart and keep it simple, that's where this comes from. It starts with the training. The core of everything you do is the technical analysis. And then it goes to live trading. So you go with Sami and James Young in the room. So he will trade in front of you and he will give you ideas live. Again, It's not just the boring weekend lecture. It's Sami doing it right in front of you, so you see how it works. Plus, there's additional lessons in things like gaps, scanning, level 2, market timing, all that good stuff. And then there are 5 group coaching sessions. So you can ask Sami literally anything you want. Sami has probably the most conviction of any trader I've ever met in his method, in what he believes, and he will give you the truth about anything right to your face. For example, like I've asked Sami about stocks I own. He knows I have big positions in. He will tell me right to my face if he doesn't like them or he thinks they're bad ideas. And that is the definition of a true friend, the person who will tell you the truth that you don't want to hear. So again, you could ask Sami and James anything you want during these coaching sessions. And then there's ongoing development. So you get 1 year of Sami's trading room, you get 1 year of his newsletter, and you get 2 more courses. So you learn more over the course of a year. So again, what makes this different? This is the biggest question you should be asking. What makes things different? Did I just go solo? Again, what makes this different? And this is the most important question you should always ask when you buy anything, which is, what makes this different from just another online class? The first thing is you learn the system from 2 world-class pros. Then you see them use it in real-world conditions in front of you. Then you get coached by them. Now, see, this is important because any idiot, including me, can fake it. I could get some slides and I could fake it and make you think that I'm the greatest trader in the world. But I cannot take you in the room and do it in front of your face. And that's the reason people like working with Sami, is because he will walk the walk right in front of you. And he does not hide anything. So that is the most important thing. It's you learn the method and then you see how it works in the real world. GT is saying, I want to be Sami's friend too. We can't guarantee that just yet. We are working on that, a program where you can become Sami's friend, but we cannot promise that just yet. That would not be right. So who is this for? So if you want to go all in on becoming consistently profitable, if you want intimate guidance and coaching, or if you want to go pro, this might be a good idea for you. So our mentorship classes last year had people from the USA, Switzerland, Sweden, Spain, Paraguay, New Zealand, Malaysia, all over the world. People are joining these classes. It's crazy. There are some people watching in Europe, like in the middle of the night, they're getting up at midnight or something crazy and doing and working with Sami in the middle of the night, which is amazing. So some students have been total beginners, but most have at least a few years of experience. So these events sell out fast and spots are limited. So think about it now. If you have questions, email our friend Amber at T3Live.com. Amber at T3Live.com. She's walked hundreds of people through the process of setting up these events, and she will also tell you if it is not a good idea for you. So she will be 100% honest, and she will tell you if this is a good idea or if this is a bad idea. So we encourage you to email her today. She also put her live link in the chat below. Click on that and you can talk to her live and she'll answer any questions you have. So I'm going to go through some testimonials just so you can see what people have experienced. So Micah from Hawaii said, confident enough to leave my job, move back to Honolulu and trade full time. I'm getting sick of Brooklyn. I would like to move to Honolulu, so I'm thinking about it. So yeah, Micah changed his whole life. Ken from Texas says he's sharing the money-making strategy that he himself relied upon. AJ from North Carolina said, seeing where James is now, I felt I could also reach his level. Brian from Seattle said, I covered the entire cost of the mentorship with one trade idea I got from Sami. So yeah, so Sami shares ideas live along the way. Milady, I should know this name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but she said they are great at teaching and have the patience. Dennis from Australia said James shows a passion to see the students get started in their own trading careers. And I'm speaking fast because we have a crap load of these to go through. Ben from Canada said the gains became more noticeable following the mentorship. Ren from Virginia said it can change your life as it has mine. James from Texas says, I made back what I paid for the mentorship and more during the week. Jason from California said, I was green every day I was there. Phil from New York said, my account was up nearly 20% in the 5 days of the mentorship. Collins from India said it was the experience of a lifetime. I watched all the way from India via live video streaming. Sami is phenomenal. Now, Collins is actually sort of the inventor of this program. In a way, he was the first person to ever do it online because he couldn't get to the US during COVID. So yeah, he watched all the way from India and loved it. And one person who's attended multiple mentorship with Sami said, I learned a lot and was surprised at all the small, important details. Marlene from Illinois said, I learned so much that I did not want the experience to end. Newell from Florida said Sami's collection of material would take years to learn any other way. Zolti from California said outstanding experience, way beyond my expectations. So you get a whole ton of stuff, all the stuff on the screen. I can't talk anymore. So it adds up to $12,265. And that includes the mentorship training and coaching and the trading room and the newsletter and all the other goodies on the screen. Total value of $12,265. You can join the mentorship for $59.95, which based on today's food prices, that's like 3 dozen eggs and a cup of coffee with the way inflation is going. So $59.95, t3live.com/mentor. If you have any questions, email amber@t3live.com. You could also click her live link in the chat where you can, if you don't want to talk on the phone or anything, you could just chat with her, instant messages. Again, t3live.com/mentor and email amber@t3live.com. So again, we encourage you to sign up. People love this. It's the best educational program we've ever offered. Sami and James absolutely kick butt on it the whole way through. They are amazing teachers and mentors. They will answer anything you want. And Sami, I think we should end by thank you for reminding us to keep it simple. Let's not waste our lives and lose our brains staring at the news and obsessing and trying to predict the future. So Sami, it's been an honor. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.